The Nun too, I used to laugh at people who claimed to see things in the dark, but the night I walked into that forgotten chapel, I realized some shadows aren't just shadows, they're watching, waiting. I never believed in evil until last year. At the time, I was working for a small historical preservation group in Eastern Europe. We were tasked with cataloging ruins, old monasteries, forgotten churches' structures swallowed by centuries and superstition. I'd done plenty of surveys before, but the assignment to assess a 17th century abbey in Romania was the one I should have refused. It was winter when I arrived. The air was sharp, the sky an endless sheet of gray. The abbey sat on the edge of a dying forest, its roof caved in, its walls mottled with moss and black cracks. From the outside, it looked like any ruined church. Inside, though, it felt wrong. The locals had warned me not to stay past dusk. A man at the inn, with a face lined like weathered bark, told me bluntly, "No one keeps watch in that place." The sisters left for a reason. The nun walks there now. I laughed it off, thinking it was folklore, just like every other town I'd visited. But even on that first day, while sketching the outer walls, I noticed how birds never perched on the cross. Not a single crow circled the spire. The air was too still, too silent, as if nature itself avoided the ruins. The first night, I stayed in the rectory attached to the church. It was drafty, cold, and smelled faintly of mold. I lit a lantern, set up my notes, and started working. Around midnight, I heard something. It was faint, like the low hum of a woman chanting in Latin. At first, I thought it was wind funneling through cracks in the stone. But then the hum became distinct words. My Latin is limited, but I could make out fragments. In nomen domini mortem. Tenebris, I froze, pen in hand. The chant stopped the moment I tried to stand. I brushed it off as my imagination, jet lag. Old stones echoing strange sounds. But when I blew out the lantern to sleep, I could feel eyes on me from the corner of the room, though nothing was there when I forced myself to look. The second day I spent inside the chapel. The nave was intact enough to walk through, its floor littered with broken pews and shards of colored glass. At the far end, the altar was still standing, though half swallowed by shadows. Behind it was a doorway leading to what used to be the convent's living quarters. I should never have gone in. The corridors beyond were suffocating. Narrow, windowless, lined with rooms where the nuns once lived. Most doors hung loose, revealing cells with nothing inside but rotted straw and rusted crucifixes nailed to the walls. But one room was different. Its door was closed tight, heavy, and unyielding. When I leaned in, I swore I heard breathing on the other side. Slow, deliberate, like something enormous inhaling. I backed away, heart hammering, and marked it on my notes without daring to open it. That night, the chanting returned louder this time, clearer. It didn't come from outside or down the hall. It came from inside my own room. I lit the lantern and spun in circles, searching. The walls seemed to ripple with shadows. And there, in the corner, something was darker than the rest, tall, thin, almost like a figure. It didn't move, but the air grew heavy, pressing down on my lungs. When I finally forced myself to blink, it was gone. By the third night, I was unraveling. I told myself I'd finish the survey quickly and leave, but the abbey wouldn't let me. I found a hidden stairwell behind the altar, narrow and spiraling down into the earth. The air grew colder as I descended, lantern sputtering. The steps ended in a crypt. Dozens of stone coffins lined the walls, lids cracked, bones spilling out. And at the center stood a single iron cage empty, except for chains bolted to the floor. Scratched into the stone around the cage were words in Latin over and over. Non resurgit, non resurgit, non resurgit, it must not rise. My blood went cold. I left the crypt in a panic, but when I reached the nave again, something was different. The chapel smelled of sulfur and candle wax. I hadn't lit anything, but dozens of candles now burned along the altar. And standing at the center, her face hidden by the veil, was a nun. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stood, her hands clasped, head slightly tilted as if she were studying me. I stumbled back toward the rectory, refusing to look away, but when I blinked, she was gone. Sleep became impossible. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see her pale face looming inches from mine, eyes blacker than any shadow. I tried to leave the abbey the next morning, but when I started down the dirt road, fog rolled in so thick I couldn't see 5 feet ahead. My compass spun uselessly, the air so muffled that even my footsteps felt distant. After an hour of walking, I found myself back at the abbey gates. It was as if the place had swallowed me whole. That night, the knocking started. 3 knocks at my door, then silence. I opened it once, nothing there. The second time, I kept the lantern lit, and I saw her. The nun stood at the end of the hall, her habit torn and rotted, her skin a corpse gray beneath the veil. Her mouth was twisted into a grin, revealing teeth too sharp, too many. She didn't walk toward me, she glided. Her feet never touched the ground. I slammed the door, shoved furniture against it, and listened as the knocking resumed, harder, faster, until the hinges shook. Then it stopped. I stayed awake until dawn. By the 4th day, I was hearing whispers constantly. They came from every corner of the abbey, overlapping, growing louder whenever I prayed or tried to recite scripture. My own voice was drowned out by theirs, mocking, laughing, repeating my words in twisted tones. I fled to the chapel one last time, desperate for answers. That's when I saw the sealed door at the back had been opened, the one that once held the breathing. Inside, the room was bare except for claw marks across the walls and a single crucifix upside down. And standing beneath it was the nun. Her head jerked toward me in one sharp motion, neck cracking like breaking branches, her lips curled into a smile. "In nomen Domini," she hissed, "you are mine." The lantern shattered in my hand. Darkness swallowed the room, and in it, I felt her breath against my ear, cold, wet, inhuman. I don't remember leaving. I don't remember how I got out of the abbey. I woke the next morning on the side of the road, mud caked to my clothes, my notebook torn to pieces. The abbey was gone. I swear at just empty fields where it had stood. That was a year ago. I don't talk about it, not with anyone who hasn't felt it, but I know she's still with me. Every night when the lights are out and I close my eyes, I hear her chant. And sometimes when the room is quiet enough, I feel her veil brush against my face, as if she's bending low, waiting for me to finally pray.